All right, so now we're on the 10 note away minor 7. So this is the 7 means it's the 7 position in the scale. 10 notes away means it's 10 notes away. And it's going to be a minor 7, which is normal for a minor mode, which I kind of think of as the Locrian as a super minor mode with an added flat fifth, making it not only minor, but a little crazy, little loco, little Locrian loco. But so that's what we would expect. Remember that means that it's kind of interesting that this 10 note away minor 7, remember that the major scale has an 11 note away major 7, and that's going to be the Ionian here, and then the Lydian also has a 11 note away major 7, but all the rest of them basically have, I think all the rest of them have a 10 note away minor 7, which is kind of interesting, so because every minor mode, the Dorian, the Phrygian, the Aeolian, has a 10 note away minor 7, and we know that the Mixolydian, which is kind of the bluesy mode, has a 10 note away minor 7. So that's kind of interesting, and that's the one that we can often play with to kind of when you're going back and forth in like a Mixolydian mode or a major blues, you're kind of toying with going from the major 7 to the minor 7, and you can also do that in any of the minor modes as well. We can play with the major 7 and the minor 7. Why? Because if you're in the major scale like the C major, you have the B that's the leading tone that goes home. That's giving you that leading tone. So that's cool, but in the minor modes like the A minor, you don't get that leading tone that goes home, but you can add it, right? So if I want to so you can always, like, if I'm going home to A, I can always add this note. So, and that's going to be that note is the major 7, 11 note away major 7, whereas the minor mode has a minor 7 in it. So it has a minor 7, but you can always hit the major 7 leading home. And it's also just true that I've been playing more and more with the idea of just utilizing more half steps in general. So you can kind of use a half step anytime you want if you're moving in half steps. But that half step in particular is quite useful because it's gonna take you home. Similarly, if we were to play in Locrian, which is basically a minor mode, we have then this being the minor 7, which gives you that kind of a bluesy kind of feel, but you can also hit this note to lead you home, just like any other minor scale to the B, and like the Mixolydian, which also has that same dynamic. It has a major third, but it has that minor that 7 in it. Okay, so this is an important interval to me at least. So let's say then that we go 10 notes away. So if I go forward, I can't, it's too far, so I have to look for the inverse distance. So 12 minus 10 would bring me back to here. And by the way, it's the 7, and that means when I do a chord construction, it's still an odd interval. So it's the 1, 3, 5. That's our normal triad, and then we add the 7, which is outside the normal triad. But we didn't make him change his name. We didn't say, hey, look, it's not like the even ones that we're like, we don't accept them from chord construction. You have to identify as an even number if you want to be in our group. You might need some surgery even. I don't know. No, but the odd here, this one is still like, it's not part of the normal triad, but it's still an odd number. So it's still you could still. It's normal that way. Okay, so we don't need a new name for it. It's just the 7th, but it's a minor 7. Okay, so if we go back one, it's going to be here, back to here. So if I went from A to B, that would be a 2 note away, which would be a major 2nd. But if I went to B to A, 10 note away, minor 7. All right, let's go up 1 now. Let's go up 1 to here. So if I go up above it, I have to look for the inverse distance. So if I'm looking for a 10 note away minor 7, 12 minus 10 is 2. So it's going to be negative 5, 4, 3, 2. So let's go up 1. So it's going to be negative 5. From here to negative 5, 4, 3. Wait a sec. What am I doing here? I went Negative, yeah, no, that's right. What am I talking about? -5, 4, 3, 2. There it is. So if I went from A to B, that would be a 2-note away major second. And remember, the inverse of a minor is a major, and the inverse of a major is a minor. So if I went from the bottom to the top, B to the A, that would be a 10-note away minor 7. So if I go up one string, the 10-note away minor 7 is going to be 1, 2, 3 frets forward unless I cross the fault line. Notice it's a flattened 7, so the major 7 would be out here. And you can always see that because it would be a leading tone going back home, right? That's where the octave is. So if you were kind of messing around with it, so it would lead to here. So it sounds wonky when you're in a minor mode and you throw in a major 7, but it sounds right when you go back home. Right, resolves back home. All right, enough of that. Enough. Just do the thing. So if I go up one string, the 10-note away minor 7 is 3 frets forward unless I cross the fault line, which would only happen on the B string, in which case if I go up one string, then it's going to be right there. It's going to be tighter because this tectonic plate moved the tonic inward. So if I go up one string, the 10-note away minor 7 will be 3 frets forward unless I cross the fault line, which only happens on the B string, in which case if I go up one string and cross the fault line, the 10-note away minor 7 will be 2 frets forward. All right, let's go up 2 strings. 2 strings, looking for it here. So if I go up 2 strings, I'm looking for a 10-note away minor 7, have to find the inverse distance because I'm above the note. 12 minus 10 is 2, so it's going to be -5, -10, -11, -12, back to the octave, and then -12, and then, or 0, 1, 2, right? So let's do it this way. This is going to be -5, -10, -11, -12, octave, or 0, and then 1, 2, open. So it's the open A. So if I go from the open A to the B, that would be a 2-note away minor or major second. If I go from B to A, that's going to be a 10-note away minor 7 then. And then the major 7 would be here, leading us back home. So that means if I go up 2 strings, the 10-note away minor 7, it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4 frets back unless I cross the fault line, which would happen on these 2 bottom strings, in which case if I go up 2 strings, por ejemplo, it would be here. Further distance because this root got shifted up as this tectonic plate got moved to the right. So the rule is, if I go up 2 strings, the 10-note away minor 7 will be 1, 2, 3, 4 frets back unless I cross the fault line, which would happen on the B or the E string, in which case if I go up 2 strings and cross the fault line, the 10-note away minor 7 will be 5 frets back, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Muy B to the N. Bien. That's how I'm being. Muy bien. All right, so let's say we go up 3 strings. Then it's going to be 10-note away minor 7, inverse distance, 12 minus 10 is 2. So we have 2-note distance, -5, -10, -15. 15 minus 12 brings me down to 3. And then -3 plus 1 is 2. So it's counted out this way. So I'm going to say -5, -10, -15. 15 minus 12 is 3. -3 plus 1 is 2. So from top to bottom, A to B, that would be a 4-note away major third. Hopefully, major third. If I went from B to A, that would be a 10-note away. Why am I not getting a good ring? A 10-note away minor 7. So that means if I go up 3 strings, then the 10-note away minor 7 will be 1 fret forward. Here's the major 7 leading back home again to the B in this case, unless I cross the fault line, which would happen on the bottom 2 strings. So if I was on like this B and I went 1, 2, 3 up, then I would be on the same fret. So the rule is if I go up 3 strings, then the 10-note away minor 7 will be 1 fret forward unless I cross the fault line, which happens on the bottom 2 strings, the B and the E string, in which case if I go up 3 strings and cross the fault line, the 10 note away minor 7 will be on the same string. Let's go down below the string then. If I go down below the string, we're going to be way out here. That's because the fault line, this is the only place where the fault line is in effect if I go down only 1 string. So that's going to be going this way. I'm looking for a 10 note away minor 7. I don't need to look for an inverse distance, so it's 10 notes away. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So if I counted it here, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So here it is, way over there. So that's going to be, if I go down 1 string and cross the fault line, the 10 note away minor 7 is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Luckily, we don't normally cross the fault line, even if I was on this tectonic plate, on this continent, if you will, because I could still go from here to here, or if I was above, I can go from here to here. So normally it's reachable, which that's the one that's that stretchy position that you could get there, although it's a stretch, which we often see. And like if you put it to the Mixolydian from this G, that's the one that's right. You get that. So it's way out there on a G, but it's kind of reachable because it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 frets forward. And if you're playing in a minor, you can kind of reach it out there too, and it'd be a long reach, but you could kind of do it. It's you know, if you stretch your hands out. So even with fairly small hands and a fairly big fretboard like this one. So the rule's going to be that the 10 note away minor 7, if I go down 1 string, will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 frets forward, which is basically the maximum stretchy distance typically that you can get unless you cross the fault line, in which case, which only happens on the G string, in which case if you go down 1 string, then it's possibly out of reach for most hands unless you're higher up on the guitar, because it's going to be the 6 frets forward, which is pretty far up there. But if you're higher up on the guitar, you can even reach that one with normal hands as well. All right, let's go down one more round. Let's go down one more round. We're going to go down to this one. So if I go down 3 strings and cross the fault line, it's going to be -5 and 10 right there. So let's count it out here. So from here to here, -5, 10, boom, boom. So if I go down 2 strings and cross the fault line, the 10 note away minor 7 will be 1 fret forward. It's possibly more recognizable when I don't cross the fault line, which would happen on the E or the A string, because we're usually playing, you know, we're usually often measuring from these 2 strings where you get that shape. That's possibly the most common shape that many people recognize for a 10 note away minor 7, which is distorted, of course, on the D and the G string when we cross the fault line. So that means that 10 note away minor 7, when I go down 2 strings, the 10 note away minor 7 will be on the same fret unless I cross the fault line, which would happen if I start from the D or the G string, in which case if I go down 2 strings and cross the fault line, the 10 note away minor 7 will be 1 fret forward. All right, let's stop it there. I won't even do a joke to end it off. This has been a long, we had to do 3 there, so we'll stop it on that one.